Coming soon to own on
YouTube and Twitch.
Clutch.
Our windows. Our windows. Our windows.
Oh shit!
100 rounds in the car.
Game on the line, coach. Give me the ball. I want to shoot.
I know you snitch cause your crime and your time don't matter.
Yo, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to how Thunderstruck became the worst basketball movie. Now, on the record, I have watched Thunderstruck before. You know, I don't think it was that bad of a movie. But then again, I haven't watched it as a grown man. You know, maybe it's worse than I thought it was. That happens with a lot of kids' movies where, like, if you're younger, you think it's the best, and you rewatch it, and it's like, what was I watching? You know, that happens for a lot of non-animated movies, like a lot of the more live-action stuff with like CG, like bad CGI in it. But like, we're just gonna get straight into it. Me personally, I think Thunderstruck was a good movie, but that's just me though.
Yes, sir! The OKC Thunder are NBA champions. I've been very vocal about my fandom for this team on my channel since the beginning, and so I knew that if we brought home that Larry O'Brien trophy, I would have to celebrate here. I mentioned a while back that if the Thunder won it all, I would review the 2012 movie Thunderstruck, a movie starring Brandon T. Jackson, Jim Belushi, Tristan Mays, Doc Shaw, Taylor Gray, and 15-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, even though we don't really count those, 2014 kid.
Oh my God, bro. He had to do what he had to do, man. Just let him run.
MVP and all-around NBA legend Kevin Wayne Durant. I had no idea
Wayne.
his middle name until now. I'm not gonna lie, this movie
Yeah,
was
well, he
pretty
just
much
KD
ripped
my
off another
loss.
basketball movie starring somebody from Lottery Ticket, like Mike. A film I grew up loving and will likely review on my channel soon.
But how is this a ripoff? Isn't in Like Mike, it was the shoes that gave him like his basketball powers, and in this one, he stole KD's powers. I don't know.
I'm aware that Thunderstruck is from a different era of Thunder basketball. I'm aware that it stars a different MVP than the one we have now, but the fact that a Thunder-oriented kids movie was released in theaters and is old enough to be considered nostalgic at this point is something that I just have to cover, regardless on if this flops or not. So that's what we'll be doing. My name is Mr. Nostalgia, and today we will be, well, for one, celebrating the Thunder's title, but also reviewing the Kevin Durant-led basketball film, Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck released in theaters on August 24th, 2012, with a budget of $7 million and a box office return of
I ain't never seen a movie flop this hard. $7 million budget, 500K return. Oh my God. Fire the entire team who made this.
This movie was pretty much instantly a flop. Kind of like Jokic. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be making all of you Thunder/Shea haters mad in this video. What do the kids call it these days? Rage baiting? But yeah, dude, this movie bombed horribly and is one of the many reasons why it's not really remembered very well nowadays. However, is it a case of it being buried for quality reasons, or did it just happen to fly under the radar? That's what we'll be figuring out in this video. Thunderstruck mostly centers around two very different people who live very different lives. Brian Newell is a freshman in high school who is honestly not even he is a loser, straight up. He gets no girls, he can't hoop. The only somewhat interesting thing about him is the fact that he's the manager of the school basketball team. And when I say somewhat cool, I do in fact mean somewhat. The biggest thing about his character is that it seems like all he does is fail in every single aspect of his life. Kevin Durant, aka KD, aka Durantula, aka the Slim Reaper, on the other hand, since being drafted by the now defunct Seattle Supersonics in 2007, has made quite the name for himself. I don't know when exactly this movie takes place, but considering the script was most likely written in 2011, I'm assuming this takes place during his 4th or 5th year in the league. in which case he had already racked up a Rookie of the Year award and a few All-Star and All-NBA nods. This ain't a basketball video per se, but if you would allow me to just wild out for a second,
Go ahead,
dude,
Torn.
KD was nice, man. Still is, of course.
Already
but
know.
especially during this era. 7 feet tall, don't listen to what Google says, and was able to do everything a guard can do, but better, because he's 7 feet tall. He's one of one. Bro, that game
Still
winner
is.
against Dallas in 2011 on opening night, mind you. Come on. Iconic, man. All right, let me get back to the movie. What I'm trying to say is KD at this point in time was one of the biggest names in sports. It's literally the only reason why they gave this dude his own movie. I mean, you don't see Carlos Boozer getting a movie with his fake Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs spray-on hairline. The thing is, though, especially at this time, the one thing KD wasn't really known for was his personality, which, as you could expect, led to some awkward interview moments.
Any chance, I'm a Houston guy, any chance we'll ever see you in a Rockets jersey at any point?
Nah, I don't think so.
Despite living two polar opposite lives, there is actually a connection between them even before their first encounter with each other. That connection being Brian's fandom and admiration for the acclaimed star. He got KD and Thunder merch all over his room, a jersey, and a backpack. Understandable glaze. Though this does make me wonder what his reaction was to KD leaving the team in 2017. If I had to guess, it would probably be
he pissed
somewhat
off.
close to how Lost and Unbound reacted. This connection between the two characters only intensifies though when Brian and his dad go to a Thunder game to watch them take on the Detroit Pistons. Tickets must have been cheap because that team was trash. Horrible. One thing I do actually like about this movie is the attempt to make it feel like the real NBA, especially how it was around this time. This footage is taken from an actual NBA game clearly because, well, it's not like they asked Tayshaun Prince to make a cameo in this movie just to get cooked by KD. Like Mike didn't have this advantage thanks to it mainly being centered around a fake NBA team, so they had to actually film everything you saw, which included using fake NBA players. Now, using actual NBA footage is a lot cooler in my opinion, especially from a fan standpoint.
It's more
Like,
realistic.
I forgot Ben Wallace was still in the league around this time. What's even crazier is seeing Reggie Miller, Marv Albert, and more importantly, Steve Kerr. It's so weird seeing him during his color commentator era, considering he's been a coach for over a decade now. Though this does imply that the game was televised, which couldn't possibly be the case considering they're playing the Pistons. Hey, at least they're good now though. But alright, anyway. The real story starts when Brian's dad gets called down to do one of those half-court contests. And being the good father that he is, he gives his ticket to Brian.
The W
so he can have
pops.
his moment to shine. And bro ended up doing that for no reason because this dude bricks it so hard
Ooh.
and kills Rumble the Bison. Fortunately for him though, the ball rolls over to Kevin Durant, and so as he's making his exit, he actually links up with him and gets his ball signed. Obviously, Brian is quite thunderstruck by this, but even crazier is what happens after. While Katie offers up advice, we see electricity pass between the two characters, and it's not until the next morning when we see the effects of that. I think an alternative title to this movie could have been Like Mike, because it is so obvious that that is what this movie is trying to be. The next day, Brian discovers that he seemingly gained talent overnight, doing things that he's never even dreamed of doing before, though for now, he's still relegated to just doing neat party tricks. While at the fair with his friend Mitch, he spots the girl he's been crushing on named Isabel, who was currently chatting it up with Brian's bully Connor. Though it's obvious his shots are not falling. And more
Oh
was
my
to come.
god, that jumper
Eventually, the two
broke.
lock eyes with each other, and Connor challenges Brian to a shootout. Considering Brian isn't aware that he has the complete KD package now, he decides to just walk away to save.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't need the KD lightning touch to take that shootout. I could be one of the worst shooters in the world. It's all about confidence. You challenge me to a shootout, all right, bet. As long as you're paying for it. Give me that. Give me that. Come on.
Himself from
The
embarrassment.
cash.
That is until he has a random feeling of confidence that makes him turn around and drain shot after shot after shot. This would end up being the turning point in Brian's life in school, as now he's gained a full understanding of his newfound abilities. This prompts him to try out for the basketball team and have his own little Amazing Spider-Man 1 moment. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And if you haven't, then, I don't know, his own Steve Urkel moment. After putting on a masterclass at tryouts, the gym coach puts him on the team, and it's then when we really get to see him shine. He's putting on such a good performance that the game plan now is just give him the ball nearly every time. And the gym coach threatens to choke Connor if he doesn't follow through with it.
He will. He chokes me.
What?
What? Things are going quite terrific for Brian, both on and off the court. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Kevin Durant. You see, you know how I've always said that this movie is a ripoff of Like Mike? Well, would you believe that this movie takes stuff from Space Jam as well? The event that happened earlier in the movie that caused Brian to gain his overnight basketball skills is also what's caused KD to be in a tremendous shooting slump. I mean, this dude out here playing like, hold on, I gotta think of something really clever here. I'll come back later. Because of this, things are starting to fall apart.
I was gonna say Andrew Reese.
Apart from this dude out here playing like Paul George in the 2018 playoffs versus the Utah Jazz. Woo! Because of this, he's been getting scrutinized online for his bad play from everyone and everywhere. We get a lot of good cameos during the scene too, actually. Shaq, Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie from Inside the NBA make appearances roasting KD and then themselves in classic Inside the NBA fashion. It's funny, someone tried to use this screenshot from the movie, which was obviously fake, in an actual NBA discussion on Twitter to prove a point and got flamed for it. Rightfully so. Shout out OT DeAndre for making it into this video. We also get a Candace Parker cameo.
Yeah, niggas be so slow. They see some shit and run with it. They don't even check to see if it was real.
A cameo
They be like, oh, it was on my For You page. It was on my timeline. It has to be real.
from KD's actual mom. And believe it or not, Conan O'Brien. Eventually, Brandon T. Jackson, who plays KD's manager in the movie, figures out that there is potentially at least a connection between his client and Brian. What's funny is the filmmakers, in order to sell the idea that KD is in a bad slump, basically just put together actual footage of bad KD misses, which must have been hard because there aren't a lot of them.
Yeah,
KD
that's
gets
messed
the
up.
idea that something must have happened between him and the kid that he interacted with at the basketball game, but immediately shoots it down. He chalks it up to just him being in a really bad slump. Not taking no for an answer, Brandon T. Jackson tries to organize a meetup between the two so they could potentially switch back by means of taking KD to his school.
We have a special guest today.
Come on, man, really? Y'all couldn't have picked a better sound effect? After a failed attempt to get the two to touch again, Durant realizes what's going on here and tells off his manager. Clearly, though, it probably would have been in his best interest if he listened to him, because his quote-unquote cold streak is getting even colder.
But you had a slump like this now and then, didn't you?
Don't go there, Steve. First of all, I've never shot the ball this bad. I've never shot the ball this bad. I've never shot the ball this bad. I've never shot the ball this bad.
As you can imagine, considering all the recent notability and attention Brian has been getting, a lot of it is going to his head. It's starting to affect his relationship with his best friend and Isabel, who up until this point has actually shown a lot of interest in him, even going on a date earlier. It's not until Brandon T. Jackson's character pulls up to talk some sense to them and he realizes that these new abilities of his might not actually be his.
Freshman year, last year, what was your scoring average?
I didn't make the freshman team.
And now what's your scoring average?
48 points a game.
I love how this dude delivered the 48 points a game line. You can tell that Brian himself knows that something fishy is happening because he was mad reluctant to say what he was averaging. You got caught though, my guy. You've been playing with your game sliders up to 100. Things continue to go downhill when he meets up with Isabel during the pep rally, who is rather tired of his shenanigans. And like, can we just talk about this idiot real quick? You managed to pull the Tristan Mays, and now you're out here fumbling her? Can someone explain that to me? I understand ball is life for some, but
the lights were too bright. Couldn't handle it.
You have a generational opportunity right here, bro. Eventually, both Brian's conscience and his common sense start to eat at him, so he schedules a meeting between himself, Brandon T. Jackson, and of course, KD, so they can somehow swap places again.
That's it. I told you it wasn't helping me in the first place. After the season, we're going to sit down and have a long talk.
Whoever told KD he did a good job in this movie is an absolute liar, by the way. Brian, by means of displaying his newfound abilities, is able to convince KD that something is definitely wrong. So they finally start recreating the events that led to them swapping powers, but unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like anything is working.
I guess I got to start all over as a basketball player. A new KD.
Bro probably said the same thing when he tore his Achilles.
Come on.
Yeah, okay, you're right. My fault. That one's a little out of pocket. But
Way
right,
out of pocket, man. Come on.
I don't feel that bad, okay? In the final home game of the season, the Thunder need just one more game to advance to the playoffs. The TNT crew suggests that the Thunder consider benching KD thanks to his poor play, but like, nah, I'm sorry. Washed KD is still better than playing Eric Maynor 35 minutes a game. Although over at Isabel's house to apologize, Brian realizes that there was one key thing missing from the recreation attempts. That being Rumble the Bison. whose name I'm just now realizing is actually connected to the word thunder. I'm stupid. So he rushed to the stadium on his bike in an attempt to get there before the game starts. After hunting down both Rumble and KD, Brian once again tries to recreate the same event that gave him these new skills, this time including the part where the ball hits Rumble. And this time around, things turn out exactly how they needed it to. KD immediately starts hooping like a madman, hitting
Out there
floaters,
just
catching
frying
lobs from James Harden, and overall just putting in that work. Meanwhile, for Brian, the good news is, even though he's basically back to being talentless now, there is a silver lining. Although he might have lost his athletic ability, he is able to regain his trust and friendships with Mitch and Isabel, which ultimately does matter more. As for how the movie wraps up, if you've seen Like Mike, then you know what happens with this one. There's a final basketball game with a lot of weight and stakes. Our main character doesn't have his abilities anymore and is now forced to play this one out like a normal person. He gets super passive at first. They even more or less steal a scene from Like Mike in it. Eventually, though, he gets a wide open layup and actually,
oh my God.
Jokes aside, he realizes that even though he's not playing well, he still has a good mind for basketball. So he uses that to become the team leader on the court, instilling his teammates with confidence and calling out plays. He's even able to get a steal. Little by little, they're able to chip into the lead, and while they're down only by 2 with a few seconds left, what do you know? Brian hits a 3-point shot to win.
By Anthony Davis. The stadium is shaking. The fans have never seen anything
That
like
was
this
Cash
in
for a
their life
minute.
before. Davis is unbelievable.
What do you know? Brian hits a 3-point shot to win them the game.
Come on now.
Who would have thought? They all start cheering his name and celebrating around him. Even his little sister, who don't even like him for real. I don't know why she's cheering. Remember, kids, win or lose, you're always a winner if you're true to yourself. Never be someone that you're not. That is, unless it means you get to go out with Tristan Mace. Then I fully 100% recommend lying. Movie ends with Kevin and Brian playing a little one-on-one as the camera pans out, transitioning into some text that simply reads "Game Over," which is probably like
Game over.
one of the only cool things about this movie, not gonna lie. Alright, I won't sugarcoat anything. As much as I love a good basketball movie, this one wasn't one of them. At the same time, though, there are way more offensive and downright horrible kids movies out there. This one just kind of falls in the mediocre and forgettable tier. For starters, for a movie that's lesson comes from being your own person, it certainly lacks originality. This movie literally is just Like Mike, with a few tweaks of its plot and execution. However, Like Mike is like actually good, and none of the good elements of it transition into this one. Like Mike is funny, this one isn't. Like Mike has a lot of charm, this one doesn't. Like Mike has surprisingly really good emotional moments, more than it needs to, honestly, and this one doesn't. Dude, remember when Jesse Plemons was gonna burn Stuart Littlekid's picture of his dead mom? That alone should have made that movie rated R.
Also, I'm sure Taylor Gray is a cool dude, but he is no Lil Bow Wow.
Calvin Cambridge is actually a likable character, and Brian is just kinda eh. Now, this movie is really forgettable. The only memorable thing about it is that it starred KD. And its lack of originality doesn't bode well for it either, because it's hard to watch this movie knowing that there's another one that does everything better. There's next to nothing unique about it. Everything is pretty bland and at times, even worse, predictable. I will say, the movie did start off kind of fun, but that quickly faded away once Brian and KD swapped. Everything else after that is just a borderline snooze fest, filled with cliches we've seen before, just about everywhere else. And ironically, even with this being the case, I still managed to enjoy this more than other people because of the fact that it involves not only my favorite NBA team, but also my favorite sport. Watching this and trying to see how many players I can name in the background, or watching Steve Kerr, Candace Parker, and other basketball figures make appearances was pretty fun. In a way, it's almost like a time capsule. A time before poor business decisions got in the way of a potential dynasty, a time before KD was arguably the most hated player in the league, and a time before the LeBron Heat and Curry Warriors dominated the league. But even I, Mr. Nostalgia, have to admit that we can't live in the past, because
Facts.
I would totally trade all of those if it meant watching my team finally bring home that Larry O'Brien trophy this summer. Finally, after years of heartbreak, disappointment, mediocrity, and betrayal, we will finally be getting a banner hung in our arena. A lot of people want to discredit it because of the Halliburton injury, the John Morant injury, the Steph injury for whatever strange reason, and I get it. It'll happen every year. So hopefully we can go back to back next year to shut everybody up.
And all right, that was how Thunderstruck became the worst basketball movie of all time. You know, it has a lot of similarities to Light Mike. You know, obviously Bow Wow did his thing. You know, but let me know how y'all feel about how Thunderstruck. You know, how it did, how you liked it personally, not how he liked it, how you liked it personally. You know, how you feel about like it being compared like it's a ripoff of Like Mike. You know, just let me know down below. I'll see y'all later though.
You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my bones when I am free. You can't control my heart. Bones when I am free. You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my bones when I am free. You can't control my heart. Bones when I am free. You don't own my soul. Get your hands off of me. Wanna rest my bones.